just watch this work. Once it hits 602.7, that's where we're going to hit our trim. Don't want to trim this yet. I'll let this keep making its move before I hit a trim it. Remember I said I wanted 2.7, 602.7 at this purple for my first trim. Bang. We just need to keep seeing some heavy movement here, which isn't entirely impossible. It's just got to break out of this key level. Looks like what's driving this is SPY and NVIDIA. But we let that rock. Let's look at some other stocks here. So, this should come back up. There's always a new candle fake out. It's funny how that works. This should rock pretty heavily here. It should, unless for whatever reason there's a heavy sell. We should experience a little bit of pullback here. So anything that I have lined out in yellow is going to be a 4-hour key level, which typically shows a lot of rejection. And you'll kind of note too, once it hits that line, it's gonna drop down pretty instantly, or it's gonna snap through really fast. And those are the good things about having your 4-hour key levels kind of lined out for yourself. It'll show you what's happening throughout the process. So we're snapping that first 4-hour key level, it looks like. Oh, we might be rejecting it, actually. Just to be expected. Yep. Dang. Come on. If we can take this candle, we can close above 603.92, which is that first 4-hour key level right there. If we can close above that, the chances of this continuing to rock to the upside is very heavily. These contracts are moving very weirdly. If we snap again, I'm gonna come back up above this level. Come up above this level, and then we'll take our second trim for a majority exit because this rejection is pretty harsh. It's almost looking like it does want to do a full reversal, which, you know, isn't ideal. But it is the name of the game, right? So we have to be cautious of those things. Let's see if we can get a lot more people here stepping in on the ask, will be good. Which 15 seconds left on a single candle is still a lot of time to make a crazy play here. Might do a fake out. It wants to go. It does want to go past this level here. Okay, let's just sell 2 real quick so we can maintain some of that trimming profit there. What I'm going to do on my end is I'm going to put my take profit 550. I always put it high in case I want to leave runners throughout the day. And essentially just confirming my moves here. Now all we have to do is just keep praying that these candles keep rocking through the 4-hour key levels, but we cannot be scared of the rejection. If we're hitting rejection, that's fine, but we have to back ourselves out of that trade and not try to stay in it for the long haul and basically turn our green trade into a red trade. That's where a lot of people get messed up. They try to revenge trade from going, you know, having $300, $400, sometimes, you know, depending on your account size, let's say $10,000 profit, but they'll fucking let a trade go from green like that, holding that profit, into the red. I don't get it. Doesn't make sense. I fell victim to it. I mean, if this hits a pretty harsh rejection, once again, I'll probably sell majority, well, pretty much for the remainder of my position, to be honest with you, just so we can maintain that green. If we do not get above 603.92 and stay above it throughout this candle, there is a very heavy chance that we are going to reverse through this. Now you'll notice this is obviously piercing through, right, which is good, but there's still 3 separate reversal and bounce rejection lines here. And so it's snapping through, so we have a lot of buyers stepping in, which is great. But you'll note, like, this is what makes good trades, right? Not backing out too soon, sticking it out, seeing what the fuck goes down, and going from there. I could have very easily sold off my position when I was $400 in on my 5 contracts, which would have put me at 400 on profit throughout the day, which is, it's nice, right? But my personal goals are 1,000 and up a day. That's where I want to be. That's my personal goals, right? Now, this is a huge candle. Now, the problem with that is you will see a little bit of rejection on that just because that's such a large movement. However, it still has a minute and a half to rock, so it could snap this third 4-hour key level here at 605.77, but expect a little bit of drawback once that does close. You know, because that's the important side of it. You know, people will let their trades rock, which is good, and then hit drawdown and they don't, you know, they exit out too soon. Could you imagine if I would have closed? How much I would have lost out on? If you can't handle a little bit of risks, this is not for you, man, especially options, because the way these contracts move is very confusing for a lot of people, right? We have a lot of stuff hitting the bid here, which, if y'all don't know, bid is obviously going to be the lower price, ask is going to be the higher price. So when people are buying more on the bid, expect your wicks and candles to go down a little bit, right? So that's why I bring up the volume, not volume footprint, order book level 2 chart here, mainly to show me how many buyers, how many sellers are stepping in, right? Because bids basically sellers, right? Bids always going to bring your wicks down. Ask is going to bring your wicks up, right? And so obviously after a large movement, there's going to be a lot of people selling off, which is to be expected, but it's going to do a quick little fake out here, in my opinion, and then it's going to keep rocking. That's what we ideally want. Now, that's not to say that it won't have drawback, right? Because I was saying after big movements, it's ideal and common for that to happen. Because that's a lot of times what people like to trade, right? They'll wait for these big movements, wait for a drawback, use that as a retest entry to basically make another entry. I don't trade that way. I like trading off breakouts. That's my cup of tea there. And this is kind of why I mean, like 100-point movement almost every day. That's not to say that, you know, I haven't taken losses. First trade I took this morning was a loss. It was $300 at my stop loss right off rip, but we re-entered off the same criteria, and then we had this massive breakout, right? And I entered just around here. So I entered, I think it was at like $2.60, yeah, 260, 260 a contract originally. Now we're at $4.75 a contract and still moving up, right? And so some people cannot stick through that. They just can't do it. Like, they get the fear, they get the risk side where, you know, they see these big profits and they want to exit, but they're missing out on so much more. And I have friends who do it too. Harry, you know who you are. There we go. Now we're snapping through our third 4-hour key level here, and it's strong. It's very strong. It needs to chip this away so that it can have a heavy movement to continue going up. NQ and QQQ both have their 4-hour level here, obviously, as they mimic each other. The 4-hour key level on NQ is going to be 24,962.50 on this trade, and that is a heavy 4-hour key level. However, we're still in the green, which is good. This candle is not giving up on us. I'm gonna quit yapping and just let this work and watch. Now, the thing that I fear right now with what's happening is it did hit that 4-hour key level, right? It broke above, but it did hit that bounce, right? And so it comes down. We don't expect that heavy of a reject, but sometimes that does happen. You have to find your happy medium, right? This past week, or this week, sorry, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, we had similar trades that were all within this exact range. So QQQ's kind of just been up and down throughout this 600 to 607 level, and essentially I've been hit with these same moves, losing mass profits, right? But the one thing that I did say is you don't want to do that right off the rip when your trade's opened up, because you're losing out on so much potential and so much profit. Now I know my personal goals are 1,000 a day, right? And so I'm going to do whatever I can to hold that through, make sure that I hit that. But I'm also not going to be stupid enough to lose $300 to $400 on a trade. That's just not going to be the way that I operate. It's 250 trading days in a year. You do 600 a day, you're looking at anywhere from 250 to 300,000, just depending on the number side. Problem is, if this moves through this 4-hour key level, it's going to hit really, really hard. And so exactly, pick case in point. It goes to that 4-hour key level and it moves heavy, right? Now, I'm going to wait this through for this next candle close to see what the movement's going to do. Because a lot of times what will happen is it'll do that quick drawdown because it needs it after a big movement like this. And then this is where a lot of people are going to cause their re-entries for the upside potential here. Now, we're going to see. You have to be comfortable riding through this. Have to be. Because right here, we have another harsh rejection level. If it bounces off this, we're staying in. If it starts snapping through, I'm selling off. I have no reason to stay in it. And a lot of times, what I'll even do here is I'll even buy more. Matter of fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Right now, I bought that prematurely just to make sure if it did make a heavy movement that I'm in that, right? Now, it is breaking through pretty heavily, but the move isn't finished. There's still a lot of play here, right? Because it's going to have rejection in order for the market to kind of settle itself out. But we have a lot of buyers stepping in, and a lot of sellers stepping in at the same time. So it's going to be a little bit of a low volume moment. And we still have heavy buying pressure here. And you'll see it's kind of showing in the candles here. But we still do have 2 minutes left on this candle. So there's a lot of movement left where we're going to see the constant up and down here. But again, buyers are still stepping in. I mean, the volume is not changing on the buying side. Oh, that's ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly. I'm very confident in this trade here. That's why I have not gotten out. I believe in this trade. I know what it has the potential to do, and I know what the market likes to do, especially from this week, right? Because I'm still trading within the exact same levels of where we were this whole week, and you can kind of see that throughout here, right? Like a lot of consolidation on Wednesday, which is why we kind of didn't really trade on Wednesday. I think I took a $90 win on Wednesday. And then we had this massive move here where I think on this one I caught $1,600 profit. But it's part of the game, man. It's part of the game. You just got to read the shit throughout the week as you go. Monday's always a good reset day. A lot of people like trading news. I'm not a big fan of trading news. I think reading CPI index and stuff like that is it can really fuck with your trade. The one thing I will say is from what I've noticed is trading red folder days. A lot of times consolidation is very, very, very apparent. So you'll have these movements where you essentially are expecting big news, mainly because red folder obviously means big news, but the market doesn't know how to react off of that, right? And so you end up going long, and then you see a harsh rejection. You go short, it goes short, but then guess what it does? It rejects that short trade too and goes right back up. And so you're stuck in this consolidation revenge trading moment, which is honestly really shitty. Been there, done that. It's not fun. But we do need this. We do need this to continue to go up. This is a very, very weak candle close here. Closing at the level is not ideal. I don't like that. See, I'm in debates about closing this one out, mainly because of this constant not knowing what to do here. I mean, this is a very, very tricky trade, to be honest. Very tricky, right? Because what we wanted to see was these two candles close out, right, above our key level, which it kind of did. It closed right on it. But we wanted to see that rejection back up, right? And so I'm going to give it just a second. If we go, don't really know, honestly. I mean, I'm going to make sure we stop out in profit, but I don't want to close out this trade too soon because this, again, I'm going to preach what I'm teaching here. If I close out too soon, this trade goes up. Guess what I'm going to have? A lot of FOMO from fucking closing out. Very harsh price action here. Very harsh. But do remember, though, it's not going to hit a double 100-point movement 99% of the time. So we can expect a rejection. We just don't know exactly which level it's trying to read here because it keeps chipping away at the 603.92, right? When I say chipping away, it's like chopping down a tree, right? You keep hitting the wood, keep hitting the wood, keep hitting the wood until eventually it's going to cave. It's going to allow it through. Or you're going to hit a really, really hard core. See, it's still wanting to reject, and this is the sole reason I'm still in this. Again, I do have my stop loss right at break even, which is good. And a lot of people would be like, "Oh, I want to give it room. I want to give it room." Don't do that. Like if you're gonna end green, end green. You know what I'm saying? Now, do remember this is strictly capital. This isn't prop firm. This isn't funded account. This is strictly capital account. Now, don't you know? I'm not saying it's a fucking heavy account. It's definitely a light capital account. But all you need is $1,000, $2,000 to throw, and just constantly take those green days with your strategies and build that account. Right? That's why the people say it's a time game. It's not. This is the hardest way to get rich quick. You know, it's the best way to explain it. So we saw heavy two candle movement, right? That came down and hit the 603.92 level. And now we're seeing a heavy rejection from this third candle, but it wants to break it bad. It really wants to break it, which I don't like. I do not like at all. We have 48 seconds left on this candle. There's a lot of movement left for it to happen within that 40 seconds. However, if we continue to go up here and hit 604 or, get within the range of 604.50 to 604.72, there's a high chance that it's going to make a hard continuous movement to the upside here, which it looks like I might have been right on the money with that one. We do still have 20 seconds left, so we could have a major reversal here. Don't get me wrong, but I could have been very accurate with what I just said there. And the only reason I read that was because the order book level 2 above showing me how many buyers are stepping in, and also the two previous candle movements, right? And so right then and there, I don't actually know what the fuck just happened with that candle, but it took a crazy dip. That was the weirdest fucking movement I've ever seen. I've had one of those days where literally we had a candle we bought in on QQQ. Within 2 seconds, it was already 75 points in profit. And those days will happen. It's the weirdest thing ever. Makes you happy because you're like, holy shit, we just made a buck ton of money. But there's nothing to indicate why that happened. Sometimes it's just crazy buying orders that step in. Sometimes glitches in the market, which obviously, isn't the consumer side fault, right? It's something that we did. But back to this, we saw our two candlestick drawdown here, which was about roughly 50 to 75-ish points. And now we're seeing that re-entry, right? Because we re-entered at 603.92 with 2 extra contracts, which, is putting us really, really high in the green here. So long as this candle can approach 605.77, see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? My candle just closed. I got closed out. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm fucking saying? This is why you trade the morning fucking market. I don't know how to explain it to anybody else any fucking better. You enter the trades in the fucking morning. You sit there and you wait through the fucking drawdown. You trust your process. If my trade would have came back and hit stop loss, I was still fucking green. Now, yes, did it hit my take profit? Do I wish I still had runners in this trade? Of course. We'd be $3,000 in profit right now. But guess what? I hit my goals. I hit my 1,500 or 1,000 a day profit goal. I'm at 500 above. I have profits to play with for Monday. This is the fucking method. I'm telling you right now, you have to pay attention to this game. This is a